Welcome back to another session with Paintology, a live session. So we're going to try and draw something interesting again, and it's going to be drawing lips. And I know a lot of you guys who are practicing artists enjoy the idea of drawing lips, and I'm going to show you how to do that with Paintology quite easily, and then you can rapidly build up skills that develop your understanding of drawing lips more with depth and with more precision and more like realistic. Yeah. So let's go to Paintology. This is the home screen of the app, and you can quite easily go to tutorials and do many of the tutorials that are found underneath here, and very simple tutorials if you have not been on there, like paint by numbers, for example, where you open up, like say for this pizza, for example, very easy, select the colors and just simply, let's say 5, select the brush size as well, and then you could just draw. And then this really improves your drawing strokes, which is very important too. The other aspect of drawing that is really important is tones. And if you've been following my live sessions, you will know that I've created some drawings on the phone using my fingers. This one I did yesterday using block coloring. And so this is the block coloring. This is the original. And oops, this one didn't work. Discard that. Let's try that. Something has gone wrong, so I'll have to fix that. But anyway, this is the block coloring that I do using the trace. And the way it works is you simply load the drawing and then select the color picker. See that? I just select the color picker and I continue to change the brush size, continue doing that, and then I'll have my full drawing. Yeah, it's just like paint by numbers. You're following the color underneath, but it's a lot more versatile and faster. And there's actually a bigger benefit of doing this is that it allows you to pick out tones. Tones are fundamental to drawing, and now probably for the first time we have a way of appreciating tones through practice. So you just don't need to follow a teacher and try your hand in just trying to build the tones. You actually have a way of appreciating tones much more rapidly. It's one of the reasons why I'm able to make impressive drawings like this. See this? This is done on the phone. So the way I work is I make all my drawings on this phone using my finger. You can see here. So that's really what the device I'm using, Samsung Note 10, a standard 6.2-inch screen, and you're able to make impressive drawings. And the reason you can make impressive drawings is because you have this feature. Yep, zoom rotate, beautiful. With that, you can make a 6-inch screen behave like a A4 screen or even A3 size screen. So you can imagine the size typically when you work with traditional. So this is the way I usually color, and my understanding of tones has developed rapidly by using the block coloring, which we were going to do while I'm showing you this. But let me take it in landscape because I realized that I had the go live in landscape mode. So I'm going to keep it in landscape so I don't just so no, I don't, so you don't see a picture that's not really a bit tiny. This is look, it's the beginning stages of a line drawing that I was doing, one of the tutorials. Let's go to another. So quite a few drawings. This one I really like. It's again finger drawing of the landscape I did. It was done in portrait, so I'll move it to portrait, and you can see the full drawing. I don't know if that will make a difference. So you can see that this was done with combination of block coloring and freestyle drawing. As anyone can rapidly develop skills in digital. Notice my way of drawing digital is very different to how others use digital. They turn to the tools for blending, filling, blurring, line correction, automated tool. That's why all the digital artwork is easily picked out as being done in digital. But if you look at mine, it'll be hard. You'll be hard pressed to see if it was done with digital or not. And the reason for that is that I don't use those digital tools. I'm able to use the traditional skills that I've developed and transfer it to the digital medium, which means that the simplicity of doing things is just like traditional, but the most important factor that you do develop in digital is techniques. Techniques are the way towards highly creative paintings and drawings. And if you aim for techniques, you will develop core skills in art that are essential for making drawings like the way I do. So these are techniques over the use of tools. If you go to any digital on Procreate or anything like that, you'll see that they almost always turn to the tools. Their focus and emphasis becomes tool dependent, whereas in Paintology, it's all about techniques, developing art fundamentals, art techniques. Okay, so let's dive ahead. And no, before I do that, let me show you a few channels that may be of interest to you. This one is the Quora channel, which I'm very active in. And here's my profile. And you'll see that I've 1,300 answers related to art. And so I have also 650 posts on art. So you can learn a great deal. It's not a trivial subject. It's something I do on a daily basis. And I know there are a lot of people in YouTube and everywhere else that love to draw. And now you can with your phone. So don't tell don't listen to people who say you can't do much on the phone. I have proven it and shown that how capable of phones are. Okay, that for drawing. So let's look at. So you can download this app from the Paintology App Store. This is what it looks like. And then you can also check out my Paintology Quora page, which is the space here. It's the Paintology Quora. That's paintology.quora.com. And you'll see here line art. All the paintings and drawings I usually do are placed here and you've done on the phone. So it's a live stream I've started like 2-3 weeks ago. And hopefully you'll find lots of benefit through the live tutorials. And again, there are so many tutorials that you can do under the tutorial section. So let's turn it landscape mode and let's do this drawing. This is the lips as I promised. And I'm sure some of you will be familiar, especially if you're from the east side of continent of the world. This is the famous lips of Priyanka Chopra, the famous actress, well known, and her lips are always recognizable. And so I thought I'd take a photo, pull an internet photo and just focus on the lips. So this is what we're going to do. And we're going to use block coloring, a combination of block coloring and also freehand, way of drawing, which means creatively we're going to use some of the techniques we learn and apply it. I don't expect you to learn these techniques until you've developed it. So over time, by practice, and so don't be dismayed if you're not able to do it. And also, there are a lot of you who like to watch how a drawing is made, judging by many of the YouTube sites where people love the process of just watching the drawing from zero to completion, which can be fun. But now you have no excuse for making good drawings yourself, since you have the phone here and also apps like the Paintology. So this is let me put this to the corner here. This, you can see, if I slide, it goes between the reference image and my drawing canvas. And that's how I'm able to transfer. Let's say I've got this, I want to pick out these red of the lips, and I have a brush size. See that? So I have now taken, did you see how that worked? I've basically taken the color, and then let's say I use the color picker. Oops, sorry, that was my color picker, and then I pick out this color tone. Let's see what happens. And you can see, there you are, picks exactly the color tone. And what benefits does it have? A huge number of benefits. It defines, it shows you the tones. It gives you really fine-tuning your appreciation of tones. It's the reason why I can make photorealistic drawings really easily on the phone as well. Look at that color. Let me pick another one. Oops, look at that steep color. Let me pick this color. Right, now let's pick this color here. Look, that's a light red, and this one, it's a little bit more deeper red. And let's see what it looks like. You see it? These are all the variations of the tones in the lips. And as you keep doing that, your appreciation of tones increases tremendously fast, because you're practicing, you're not just looking at it. And then you're able to transfer that to your freestyle of drawing. That's what it is, freestyle of drawing. There's a lot of people who will probably say, copying and tracing is not the way. They're just the naysayers. They're not beginning artists. They're not artists themselves, and they're trying to make a critical judgment on the tools of art, drawing and painting. And it's really wrong and incorrect to say those things. It is an essential tool used by the greatest artists in the world, because they want to perfect their skill, they want to improve their skills. It's the same thing with, if you're watching the World Athletics, do you think they look at them? Look, any of these athletes, they're so toned and fit. Do you think they just do it through running and throwing a javelin? No, they do all the other variations of diet control, repetitive exercise, and running. Even for javelin, they do running, build stamina. There's so much mental, physique, and there's so much involved. The same applies to drawing. If you're looking at drawing from a two-dimensional aspect, I'm afraid you'll just stay on the sideline and you won't just nudge ahead. And that's the reason for many of the questions that arise. Does drawing requires talent? I'm not going to answer that question. I've stopped answering it. Drawing does not require talent. It requires your knowledge of practicing, learning, and continuously building up your techniques and skill sets. Yeah. All right. So let's clear this and let's go back, and then we're going to um, start showing you something else on this, which is some other aspect of this Paintology, which is extremely useful. It's the grayscale. You can see here, I turned it to grayscale. And now, why would grayscale be important for the practice of drawing? Grayscale is the reason why pencil drawing is hugely popular. Probably one of the most popular techniques in the world of drawing using pencils. And the reason for that is because it's easier to appreciate drawing using pencils because you only have to worry with black and gray tones. With color, you have to contend with the tones and the hues and the saturation of the color tones, the colors, right? So for example, let's pick this red color here. Can you see it? And then let's pick this red. So you'll see, sorry about that. Okay. So we're going to pick this red. So can you see that red is actually here? Can you see that? That red tone has is now a variation of the tone. Look at that. There, dark red, light red. So I'm just moving it around the color palette. And the reason for having this color palette is the reason most drawing artists would want something very accessible. They don't have a color palette in their drawer, so every time they open up the drawer, they get the color they want. That's unfortunately most drawing apps are like that. You have to go to press a button, open up another button, another screen, and select the colors from there. You don't want that. That's why the drawing canvas colors are right on the drawing canvas for you. So rapid drawing. I'm all about rapid drawing. If you spend days doing drawing, then you're not improving or developing your techniques. The techniques will solely be on one particular skill, which is hyperrealism or anything else. And hyperrealism isn't to really form a freestyle art. It's just the detailing of the tones. So essentially what I'm going to show you, the tones. So let's first do it by the black and white. So I'm going to do this black and white tones so you can understand it. Then we'll do the color, okay? So let's go back and just start that. My paintings and open this up. And then we'll select the grayscale. And we will just do a very rapid tone variation. So here goes. So I'm going to state the line brush. I don't want to show you, there's so many brushes you have choice of. Don't think brushes are going to make you an artist. It's just simply not. You're going to learn the techniques. And the reason why I can draw like the way you've seen me draw is because I've developed techniques, not because I'm a big user of tools or I use so many different brushes. Not true at all. So we're going to select like 8% on that. And then let's see if 8% is good enough. Color picker. Yeah, it's too small because it's going to take me a long time. So I'm going to increase that to, so let's say 23%. Let's see if that works. Yes, this probably could be a little bit less. So we're going to take it down a notch here. Let's say 20%. Okay. Yeah, that's better. So I'm going to do this. So let me show you what I do, so you can see that tones play a vital role in drawing, and you can practice this easily. So I'm going to keep selecting the color picker, draw the shape, select another tone, and just continue building up this picture like this, okay? Don't worry about how you're doing it. When you come to a tone like the teeth, it makes total sense. Using my fingers, it makes total sense to change, to keep within that high contrast image. It'd be silly of me to take that gray tone and then just do that, right? Doesn't make sense, does it? So that I'm going to pick that white and just carry it there. Even though there's the gray tone there that you can see, since our brush size is smaller, we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so I'm just taking the tones that are common to the blocks that I'm doing. See how the tones change? Right? Very following the lips. Okay, there, look. And I can see the tones happening there. But since I've got a larger brush size, I can't do much. So I'm just going to continue building the tones, yeah? And each time selecting the color picker. So no drawing experience required. This will rapidly improve your understanding. Drawing is all about techniques. Painting is all about techniques. And if people tell you you need to practice, this is practicing in a way that you understand what's going on. Yeah. So there, done that very quickly. And now I'm going to do the outer. This one, the outer, right? And then wherever, this is very subtle. You can't see the difference in the tones, but I'm still following the shape of the lips. Right? Can you see it? Still, there's so subtle changes in tones. This is a really good demonstration. Okay. See, I'm making a lot bigger strokes because the tones are quite subtle. They're not like the lips where there are microscopic variations. Okay, and then you can see for yourself how you can build up. Okay, can you see that tone change there? Amazing, isn't it? And then there tones. See the tonal variations. So this hair is black, so immediately the tones will show that. And then I'm not moving to my screen just yet, to my drawing canvas. You'll see what the actual drawing looks like. But I want to show you that this really helps you appreciate tones, which everyone keeps talking about there, but there hasn't been any effective method of demonstrating it. And I find that this is not only a demonstration, it's a way of drawing as well. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Let's go to our screen and zoom out. Look, so that's the first variation of it. If you take it far back, it will look like lips because then our eyes can differentiate or haven't got the resolution to resolve it. So now, what's the next step to really understand and fine tune these tones? Is, yep, you get it. I'm going to reduce the brush size 90%, and I'm going to go through it again. And then you're going to see that the tonal variation changes at a much localized level, which I want you to extract. Look at that. This, so you can see your drawing. So make sure you can see your drawing, what you're doing. Down here, see it. Look at that. Yeah. Okay. Will add a lot of detail because you're at a smaller brush size. Very easy to do. It's very difficult to explain with pencil because you're applying pressure. You're working with the tooth of the paper. With this, it's very easy to demonstrate. You can do it yourself on any Android phone with the Paintology app. See, I'm keeping it very tight. And then you can always look back to your drawing and then go back up in the middle position just to. So I'm going to do the top lip and show you how this changes. Now we can get to the tooth here, the light grey that sits on the tooth here. And then you'll see that makes a lot of difference. Even the tones change for this tooth. Look at that. See that? The dark tone. And then there. I forgot to show you something, but I will show you in a minute. Is the color palette where the grayscale is. There it is. Let me show you. Look at that. Look at the color palette. Oops, I've cleared it. But that's picked out so many tones. And if you look at the original picture, these are thousands of tones. Not just one or two. And as an artist, we need to render these. This is picked up these. Oops, I said I was going to do the top lip, so I'm going to keep my promise. And then you'll see how the changes. See that there? There, you see that tone change? As you pick the color of the background, the tones will. Look, you can see the dark of the lips in between the lips. You can see that? And then just follow it up. So don't worry about if you're picking the right tones or not. We can work on that, and I'll show you how you get tuned to the exact tones that you would need in a typical drawing. And that's why I instinctively able to make photorealistic drawings, because I know I fine-tune my knowledge of tones using this method. Okay, so we're doing the top lips, so just picking out these tones. Sorry if I'm repeatedly using the word tones, but believe me, tones is what drawing is all about. Everyone's trying to perfect or get the exact tones of the live object or the drawing. All right, so let's have a look back and see what we've done. There, we've added. Now you can see there's some details going on there, yeah, compared to before, yeah. So let's save that. Okay. So now let's work on the bottom lip. The same thing we did, 9%, and then simply just look at the tones that are taking and select the color picker so you know the color picker is picking out the right tones. And then you've guessed it, we're going to go even more zooming in. with a smaller brush to give the additional details. The details that will give this lips more depth and imagery, yeah? So that should go there, can you see it? I'm just trying to pick out these tones. Okay, and that's what we're going to do when you get to a smaller brush size. So, okay, so let's have a look what it looks like. So much better. Can you see where the areas that I've not touched? We will now go do the same thing. See, I'm getting really close, but I know that I'm applying. See, I picked out, the reason it went so light is because I picked out, using my fingers, I matched exactly that white tone, right? The exact white tone, but if I touch this tones, this will be the tones that are close to what I want to achieve. Yeah, so these tones. That's all it is. And your mind becomes so tuned to how these tonal values change that you're just applying tonal way of painting. There are quite a few artists who talk about tones and say they don't really need drawing experience as such. Okay. Okay, good. All right, let's see. So let's see where we are on this. Excuse me for a second. Hello, sorry about that disturbance. Now you can see here I have, so can pick the color tones, just pick them out, just add the variation, and then that blockiness will disappear. Right? Remember the blockiness that we saw? There, it's disappeared. So what have we got so far? Well, you could say, well, we could blend it. So this is a step in the drawing that we've made. And you can say, look at the improvements you're making. It's real time. You can see the improvements you're making as you go to a smaller brush size. And we can make even more improvement over this. Simply no drawing experience required. And just, yep, you guessed it. Take that down even more. I'm going to take it to 5%, okay? Half of that 9% almost. And now we have to zoom in even more. So remember that picture we've got. Okay, remember this picture and watch as we go with the tinier brush. Zoom in, and where we go with the smaller brush. Just following the tonal variations, right? That's following, giving more, give the variation, the tonal values will be even more accurate because we've gone down in brush size and we're selecting tones. We're tuning our brain to see that. Do you see that? The tones that's being picked up from that layer in between the lips. We don't want to lose that, so we just take these tones, right? Okay. Right. There, I can see it. Now we can bring these white details. So I'm just doing the lower lip. Look, can you see it? Just dabbing and watching how the tones change. So don't get confused with your drawing. So if you feel that your drawing is in the way, push the trace bar up. Right, look at all these white marks. So these white marks will give the details. Look how quickly. Can you imagine doing it with digital tools? Just impossible. You're not going to get the level of details. Color picker always. Color picker and dabbing. Now we get to the tooth and look how much control we have over the tones. And then you'll see it in the final picture that we do, the final drawing after we've made a pass. Yeah. Okay, adding more depth. Trust me, I'm learning all the time as I'm showing you. You think that I've learned everything there is to learn? That's a total wrong way to think. You'll never be creative if you feel there's nothing more to learn. You'll be lost in your own little world. So see that? See that tone change? Right? I'm still keeping it local because I can see the tones that have changed. And because I have better degree of control with the smaller brush. See that? There you are. Look at that. You have so much degree of control. And that's training your mind to look for these tones that consistently gives depth to any drawing that you're making. Consistently develops, fine tunes you. It's like I've given the example when you want to buy a car or a bicycle, whatever. Your brain immediately tunes into all those cars, and then lo and behold, every time you go out, that car or model is right before your eyes, always, everywhere. It seems like everyone's got it, right? It's happened to me quite a few times when I used to look for a new car to replace my banger. Okay. Right, there you are. Let's see what that looks like. Look at that details we got, yeah? You seen that? And then you can continuously, and I'll show you at the end how to blend this in, and we will make it look like the beautiful lips here. Okay, but right now we just want to lay down the basic tones, yeah? So this bit needs addressing, so we're going to keep tapping, see those areas you might have missed, tapping, okay? And I'm always selecting the tones because my mind is not tuned to the very tones. Unless I'm drawing in freehand, I need to select these tones manually, yeah? But right now I have the block color way of doing these tones, training my memory and my brain. That's why you can make really impressive drawings simply on the phone. There, can you see that area that I haven't addressed? Great. Right. See, now your brain gets so in tune with that tone because you're at just such a low level. Right, you can do the details that. So we're just gonna put that down, and then we're gonna look at that. There's areas, small little areas that makes the difference. Okay. There, can you see it just below the edge of the lips? What color that is? So this is landscape mode. Most of the drawings I've done are in actually in portrait because I know everyone likes to use in portrait, but landscape you can use it when you have a wider, letterbox size image that you want. And by the way, you don't have to use this particular lips. If you find lips online, just load in trace mode here. You can load this in trace mode. Alright. Just simply going with the smaller. Going over the darker areas at the top. Right, making sure selecting the right tone. Right. So the darker ones are the ones that keep my eyes focused on what I need to select. See that tone? So this is your appreciation of tones will go through the roof, telling you. Look, yeah. So if there's any areas that you have not addressed, just keep doing it. Now let's see what we have. Look at that. You can see the improvements. It's now the lips are almost coming to life, isn't it? So now what can we do? Well, we can see areas that we need to cover, and we can simply do that quickly, just rapidly. Just use your areas that you see that has got a sort of a border, right? Then just get the tones that are within that localized region, and it just merges. It's a way of merging the blockiness. It's a new method of, I mean, these are techniques you probably have not seen in digital, because they will all be forever going to tools, back and forth, selecting this tool. Have I gone to any of the tools except this color picker? No. Forever just turning to tools. You need this tool, you need that tools. You become so tool dependent that your idea of drawing in digital no longer applies. It's dependent on tools. Your techniques take back seat, and your techniques have evolves from actually the use of tools. I've kept the same brush, and I'm simply just following what the drawing is all about the rendering of the tones. Let's see what we look like. Look at that. We've come a long way from that, haven't we? And let's see if we can improve this region. But look at all that texture there. Wow. You would think, well, I think we probably need a smaller, even more smaller brush. But use the large brush just to give it the illusion. Remember, a lot of the artwork is to give the sense of illusion to the actual paint. If you go to a museum, have you seen the big paintings that are up on the wall? Then as you get closer, you see all those prominent brush strokes, and it just doesn't make sense, the brush strokes. I did one of Constable's famous paintings. It's called the Haywain. Don't know if you know. That's where there's a cart in the middle of a swampy area of water with a dog barking. It's a very famous Constable painting, and I did that using block coloring when I was awaiting treatment in hospital, nothing serious. And it turned out to be really good, and that's how I discovered this tonal way of drawing. And you should give it a try. Okay, so we're just following with the bigger brush, nothing too big, fancy. Okay, look at that. Picking out the tones. Now this area will hopefully have some texture. It's very difficult, come on, for someone to pick out the exact texture, and hyperrealism attempts to do it. I could spend hours on this and turn it into a hyperrealistic drawing, but that's not what I'm here for. Okay, let's see what we've got. Look at the details on the top. Now you can see, got our details on there. So let's pick that same. Right. Let's pick that. That. And then let's see where we are. That's the simple, effective way. Now you may be thinking, well, how could you blend the areas around? Let me show you, since makes it easier for me to do this. Is I'm going to save this, and I'm going to show you an easy way of doing this. Look at this tones here, here, and here, and here. Okay, these three tones. To blend it, it's very easy. Take this down to say 26%. Take this a bit larger because that size will depend on the area that you were trying to, and then pick the color, this Jameson color, and just simply blend. Now, it's just got less opacity. Pick a bigger size. Just simply blending. See that? How that's blended. And now you might think, well, I want to blend this. Take that down because my experience tells me it's a harsher color. So there you are. Simple blending. Can you imagine using tools? You can use the same blend. Just okay. Let's take this color and blend it in here. So easy. Blending in the digital, easiest thing you could ever possibly do. Let's go here and pick this darker and make it creep to the next section. Alright. And let's pick this color here, take it to the next. Alright. And just work your fingers. And then here you got this color, and just blend. Okay, and then you got a multitude of colors here. So you could take the dark here and then just blend. Alright, no biggie, nothing too complicated. Just blend. Take this. Just experiment, blend. Okay? Take that, just blend. Take the white. Just blend it. And then this. Look at that. Easy, isn't it? Can you imagine doing with the tools? How difficult that would be for every section of the blending. Oh God, I hate to be thinking how they would go around doing that. They would select a little square there, then a little dot there, then a little dot there, and then, oh God, they'll be taking forever using the tools. That's what I'm saying. Anyone who uses just the tools or a blending tool or layers, yeah, it just complicates the whole. And don't get me wrong, digital tools are excellent. For I'm an advanced user of Photoshop, I will never draw it that way. Never use it for drawing like this. So let's see what that looks like. Look at that. See how we blended that? That looks so good, isn't it? The whole face blended. Blended and splendid. I like that pun. Blended and splendid. You can go as detailed. Don't overdo it, but you know what I'm going with this, right? And the dark, so you can get that dark region. Get this down a bit around the lips area here, and then just work it. Give that form, right here. Look, so that boundary doesn't look like the lips have come from nowhere, right from outer space. It actually is part of the same form, right? And then here, blend it here, and then here. Let's see what we have. This is something new I'm doing. I am not used to it, but I'm just blending it, right? And then we can add the little touches to it. Like, let's look at the, always refer to the reference image. Let's pick, have we got a nice color? Okay, that's too big. Take that down. Look at that, just comes out too detailed, doesn't it? And then we can even take it down. Look at that. The opacity, right? Tone it down because it's not that harsh. Right, let's see what we look like. Yes, sort of looks like that area that we saw. And then let's diffuse that if you need to with the whiter by selecting the white. Okay. And now let's see if we can blend this. Okay. Now we've got a smaller brush. Right, let's do that. Take that black because that's what really looks now that we have. You can see that the lips are a little bit more. Let's take that brush size even more. It's got more density. And it's got more form and shape, more texture, isn't it? You've seen it. It's got more texture. Look at the original. Look, see? It's got that more. So I'm trying to create that, yeah? So I've increased the density to something that, and then just move. Keep looking at the drawing and then, so do you see that? Do you see how dark that is? So we need to do the same. Right there. Then look there. Now we're using some freestyle drawing. Then we can still use the color picker and get the adjacent and then just work our way around. Okay, and then take the density down if we need. And then here, look at it. How are we going to create that? Well, we can pick this and then we can go like this, right? Because that's the shape I saw. Yeah, you can see it. There's the shape. That's another shape. Look, there, can you see the shape? So we're really getting into the thick. This is like an instruction on photorealism, right? Which you probably haven't seen. Right? Just giving that illusion. See that? See that? See that? This requires this brush, which we're going to take out the elements here and give it some structure to it, and then you can use the color picker palette tool and then just do those lines that defines the lips. See that there? So we can pick the color picker of the right tone. So we got that color picker, pick that color there, define this shape that it's going on here. So this is like I'm using the trace image to flick between mine and the, you see that there? I did a hand like this, and you're free to do There goes it. There, that's the shape. Look at that. Those three, they're coming out so nicely. There, 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 and there, and there. Okay? There. Yes. So, there, there. That's what gives it shape. There. Right, so let's look at it now. Look at that. So much improvement, isn't it? Right, now you can keep on going, and I will, so I will keep going with this, and then like what I'm doing, right, I just showed you. So here, let's go here, have this image here, go from there. Oh yeah, you see that's the part that I want to get, this contrasting image. But before we do that, let's lay down some horizontal lines that are going on with this image. We've got nice brush size here. See that? The horizontal. Take that even down. Look how small these. Take that. There, go there. Then. Then. Let's go. Yeah, are there any horizontal lines? There's one there. Okay. All right. Now let's do the vertical lines. There. Just do that. Work that up. I'm not sure what I'm trying to do, but what I'm trying to do is lay down a texture that's unique to this lips, right? There, there, there. Look at all those vertical texture. Just put them down while you're, look at this one, just going all the way across the upper lip, right? Look at that. And then let's see what we have. Excellent, isn't it? And then you have these little horizontal marks, right? Like a tree. Looks like a line of trees, isn't it? And then you can just do the same thing. Look. And then you'll see that it brings out that effect. Right. All right, there. There more vertical lines. Yes, there are. And then let's pick that. See that? Those vertical. Just bring those. I'm not worried about the details. Look at that. This line goes here up to, that's like the border. So very important that you consider the border. Then if you look here, it's not quite dark, right? So we're not going to take that out. All right. So we don't want to go beyond that. Otherwise it look odd. Right there. So we got that right. Yep. We got this. Look there. Right. So now let's see what we have here. So we got that top mark of the lips. And now you're thinking, well, okay, we got the light here, isn't it? Yep, you guessed it. And look at the size of that. That's going to be like 1%. Then let's really zoom in and pick the color. Look how low it's gone. Right, let's do these marks. So I have there, there. So we can just simply just go follow these marks, give the illusion that we don't want to overdo it. Right, so here, just nothing accurate. Okay, let's see what we have there, isn't it? Giving a sense of there. Can you see there's some? So we can increase it a little bit. So we can say, I see those white marks, isn't it? Can do the same thing. Right? Take it up. I can see those white marks, right? Give the illusion that they're little bits of dots, yeah? The speckled, that's what gives it the speckled white. So you can see what you can do. See what you can do with digital, yeah? There. Then just pick that. Give that form. Some dark areas, right? So I don't expect you to fully appreciate this, but I'm just developing techniques for this particular drawing as I go along. I don't have any particular method, but luckily for me, every time I do something, it seems to take some shape, yeah? That's only because I pay attention to what I'm doing. And I'm paying attention to how the textures are formed. If you don't pay attention, you'll be working in the dark, isn't it? And then you resort to the tools to help you. That's what really is the crux of drawing. That's why many people resort to. See, now we never saw this tooth that's right there, isn't it? I never noticed that tooth, but now since we're more acutely aware what's going on, we're going to build these. I'm going to add that tooth. Right, okay. Look at that tone there. That tone is a bit light, so we can keep building that. And you could go on and on. Now look at this light tone here on the, don't forget the lower lip. Look at that. Right. Okay, we could increase it a bit. All right. Same thing happens. So I haven't done the dark horizontal tone, but you can switch. It's getting the appropriate setting for that. And then let's get that darker tone, and we just kind of simply, because remember it looked a bit dotted, isn't it? Didn't look real. So let's take that out, then keep those dots there, you know, and then just add the tones here. What have we got here? Yeah, just tones happening everywhere. There's textures, so tiny microscopic tones. How do you deal with that? Well, this is one technique. I'm just showing you one technique of how you deal with these different texture microscopic tones. I'm using my fingers, yeah. I'm not doing anything different. And then you can go back to the color palette and pick out those, see how those stand out. So you can take the density down so it doesn't have such a high contrast. Right? Right? You get better at this as you do it. Look at that. Look at all these light tones. So we're going to add these light tones, bring it down because it's a bit lighter here, and then keep pressing at it so you see how I'm pressing the same place once or twice, getting the illusion of different tones. It's all about bringing out, look here, okay, pressing it twice, look at that, I got a different tone, lighter tone. Then you go back to the color palette and then do the tones that, right, that you see here. You can see that here, that, then it's like that. It's just the tones I'm creating. Right? That's how I use with the hands. Look, see that? When you get close, you will see how far we've come away from the, and don't always go straight down, vary it. Right? Look, even add these horizontal. So we could go to that tone, the lighter tone. Right? And then see where they are. See, I'm just focusing more on my side. Look, see those tones? That's where your acuteness increases. Your sense of tonal appreciation increases. So obviously it's not going to be a perfectly white uniform. Look at that dark tone there. I want to capture that. It's going across the lips. Look at that. The tones there. Then have we got any of the white tones that we need? Right, this tone. Yeah, it's happening all over. Oops, it's a little too harsh. So take it down. Right, just creating texture. Look at that, there. Then if you keep dabbing in the same place, you're adding more texture. then there. Then let's see what we see here. Yeah, we see these. See that here? We can take that color tone and then just spread it. So make it diffused, yeah, because we got a different, then take that color tone, black, and just make it work. Look at that, that's sort of diffused. So again, we use that diffusion that we did, look, and just roll it there. Can you see it? Now we can diffuse that. Look at that, how different that is. So how do we do that? Well, we've got a good brush size, 2%, let's say. For blending, it's, and pick up the white. Right, and then what do we have here? Keep focusing on what we have here, and then pick the color so you don't get lost. Pick the actual color. So you see the tooth is the most prominent feature, and we're going to get that right. That black is, we can just gradually work our way. This is a technique, right? And then gradually work our way to the, giving the illusion that shape. And then we can pick this, work it to that region here, and then we can pick, oops, good thing for digital, isn't it? Then here, and then just diffuse the dark region here. Look. And then what we have here is that the black, do you see that how straight? Because the tooth is definitely straight, isn't it? So we want to give her as though she hasn't had any work done to her teeth. Right? And then pick the color, just roll it in. Okay, we haven't seen our picture what it looks like. A big difference, isn't it? You'd think, wow, did we do this? Yep, we surely did. So there's the lips, and now you see as you work into it, you'll know what you're doing, and you'll keep developing these skills. It's just to show you the power of digital. Doesn't have to be with the tools only. It is the techniques. Oops, look at that power of that. Did I pick the right brush? I don't know. So let's pick the color tones here. Color tone. And then I just want to work this color tone into it. That's all. Okay. All right, so let's finish off with some, oops, let's save that for now, okay? And let's finish off with this side. Can you see it? It's not done. Let's see what we have in the original. Very easy. This is the easiest thing in the world. So again, pick a good brush size. Increase the, because the hair is dense, so we could increase the, right, and then what do we have here? We've just got a nice hair going up that way, and then pick the colors, right. That's all we're trying to do, not trying to create anything new. And then we'll leave it like that. What do you say? Right, there, does that look good? Yep, definitely looks like a hair, isn't it? Well, that, as you can see, showing you the power of techniques, not the power of tools, but the power of techniques. And why is it a technique? Well, I've kept to the line brush, nothing more. And then I use the density hardness settings to get the blending, and then I use the zoom, and then I'm in the grayscale. That's it. Is there anything new I did? No, I don't think I did. So this is, I just wanted to show you techniques is what you should be striving for. And how much time have we spent doing this? Well, probably over an hour, but if I were not talking, I would probably do it even quicker. But you can see that I can transfer this knowledge to freehand drawing, and I'm able to do so because I have an acute understanding and application of tones, the variations of tones. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope to bring you another session. Please, please remember to comment and tell me any subjects that you'd like me to draw, and also subscribe and hit the alarm button so you can see notifications of new live sessions, which I do bring out daily, of videos that are coming out daily apart from the live session here. So thank you for watching. Until again, bye bye.